If you run a business and you're not on your way to reading every single book that Dan Kennedy has ever published, you're gonna lose. Like, full stop, you're done. You will lose to the person who is drinking from the fire hose of money making information that is Dan Kennedy. I've started reading his books years ago, and most recently I got back into it. And I've basically been binging them for the last year or so. About a year ago, I finished No BS Time Management for Entrepreneurs, one of the best business books, like hands down. I have more than a dozen pages of notes just on that book alone, and also on this book that I want to talk about today. And actually, the time management one wins on two counts. Like, it's simultaneously one of the best time management books I've ever read, and also one of like the best business books I've ever read as well, because you get a sense of his sort of entrepreneurial approach to time management. It's exactly what the title says, and I've actually written a complete breakdown of that book that you can just read for free. Like, you don't even have to enter your email or anything. It's just in the video description here. But you're going to hear me reference this book again and again if you stay subscribed to this channel for any period of time, and it's called No BS Marketing to the Affluent. Now, you may notice he's got a series of books that start like that. There's No BS Time Management for Entrepreneurs, Marketing to the Affluent, Sales Success in the New Economy, Wealth Attraction in the New Economy, Trust-Based Marketing, Brand Building, Management, Direct Response, like all of these books. Like, he's written all of them. I've read most of them. I'm on my way to reading every single one of them. And in literally every single one, I come away with pages and pages and pages of notes. And so this one, No BS Marketing to the Affluent. I want to share just one quote in this very short video, but I will leave my complete notes to this book down in the video description. And again, no email address needed or anything like that. Yes, my newsletter is down there too if you want like extra book recommendations every week, but like, you don't have to. This is just this will take you directly to a Google Doc with 12 pages of notes from this book, No BS Marketing to the Affluent. And it's just one of the best business books that I've encountered in a long, long time. Case in point is this quote right here, where he says, "No matter what external conditions occur, you need a bastion of customers with both constant, uninterruptible ability and willingness to buy. Such customers can only be found among people of affluence, not just in income, but in their net worth and emotional state. Organizing a business around any other population is bluntly self-sabotage." What Dan Kennedy's recommending here is that you build your entire business around solving rich people's problems, which one pays a lot better, you know, and but also it's just so much less stress and fewer hassles from people that are, like them, paying you a few $1,000s a month for coaching. Like, it's not gonna, like, it's not such a big deal for them. Like their time is much more valuable than their money, right? So like, spending $2,000 on a coach for most people, that's insane. Why would you ever do that? But to someone who is your target customer, like, that's just normal. Like, they realize that all the best athletes and like every Olympic athlete, there's nobody in the entire Olympics that doesn't have a coach, right? So like, you think, like, they think nothing of like spending thousands of dollars to find the very, very best. So once you make yourself into the very best available, and you price yourself at a certain level, price yourself out of the market of people who are going to just like try and like haggle over every single thing, and like obsess over, like, in my own experience here, the most trouble that I've had was when I came out with like $7 products and like $15 products. I remember like 7 paragraph customer support emails coming in, and like this one guy in particular, I'll remember this for a long time. And like, nothing against him, like he wasn't rude, he wasn't like nothing like that, but it was a $7 product, and he sent me like this 7 paragraph email about how there are certain expectations, and he was concerned that like such and such. And I'm like, dude, what ended up happening, I just gave him, like, it was a course, I just gave it to him for free, and I was like, man, I don't have time to read your 7 paragraph email. Just, here's your money, you take it, you can have access to the course still, like, I don't want it, I don't care. But those are the types of hassles that you go through. And conversely, I've had, like, I've charged $1,000 or more to other people, and they just pay it, and they're like, yo, invoice paid, like, I sent the money, when do we start? And like, that's the difference between customer, like, and it's like a totally different sort of wealth mindset, wealth psychology. And you'll notice that when you start building your business around, affluent customers, right? And the whole book is about their like unique psychology, and it's really, really fascinating. The whole thing. I took 12 pages of notes, but once you'll really notice a difference when you sort of step out of the shallows and price yourself higher. Like like create a premium product, charge premium prices, like solve premium problem. And what you're going for is a customer base full of people who are willing and able to pay you what you're worth. And willing and able, like that's like a financial component and an emotional component as well, right? So like even some people on, I don't want to say a lower level of consciousness, but like that's kind of what I mean. Like a lower sort of wealth consciousness, I guess you could say. They would be extremely uncomfortable with paying anything more than like $100 a month, like for like coaching. Like just do me a favor and never coach somebody for $100 a month. Like that's dumb. Don't do it. And so you have to go for customers that have this willingness and ability to pay. Like they have like the money, the means, like the earning power, and the willingness, like they see the benefit of paying for the best, paying premium prices for premium service. And if you build a business around that, like around the psychology of your ideal customer, it's going to make such a big difference, man. And yeah, this book is just all about how to do that. And I swear, every time I finish a Dan Kennedy book, it's like I enter a new tax bracket. And now there's another video that I released recently, and it's called "You Don't Have a Choice But to Succeed." And I feature a book in that podcast episode. It's a podcast episode, and it's called "It Takes What It Takes" by Trevor Moawad. And that book, he was Russell Wilson's mindset trainer, like mental performance coach. He was like elite level, like top in the world mental performance, mental conditioning coach. And what he said about choices is something that I haven't been able to stop thinking about for like ever since I read it. Basically, I read this book last or back in January. And yeah, it stuck with me for a very long time. So in that episode, there's a very short discussion of how you really don't have a choice but to succeed. And so I highly recommend watching that video right now. I will put it up on the screen. Okay, so one, get my notes from this book down in the description. But really, like, there's no substitute for reading it yourself, and taking your own notes. And like one of my favorite ways to learn anything is to teach it to someone else. That's kind of what I'm doing here in these YouTube videos, right? And like that's one of the best ways to learn. Like when you teach something, you get to learn it twice. And so like that's my advice here, basically. So buy every Dan Kennedy book that you possibly can, and or just like get them from the library. It doesn't matter. Like just get them in your possession somehow, and just start taking notes immediately. Find some way to like implement like what you are learning right now into like your very next business challenge. And I damn near guarantee you that you will solve that problem and be like off to the next one in record time if you actually just like listen with an open mind to what he says and just use it and just like put it into action like inside your business, and you will just like smash through every single barrier. And like that's been true for me, and like that's why I continue to just binge Dan Kennedy books. And I haven't even finished all of them yet. Like I can't even imagine what kind of like positive changes are coming up in my business and myself just from like the Dan Kennedy books that I haven't read yet. So hope this video was helpful. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Time, no, I make time. All these people wanna hate, fine, I'ma make mine. While you sitting there complaining, I'll be training. While you sitting there just waiting, I'm creating. Yeah. Sometimes I think that I'm unstoppable.